So if you've got some musical instruments in the house, you might like to try this technique of making a collage from various bits of paper and a glue stick. And I've laid out a guitar and an oboe and a violin. You've probably got other instruments. I think it's quite good to lay them out and see their shapes, because that's what we're going to be working with. I've had a go at the guitar already, but I'll do that for you to see. So I've got a piece of paper. I've got various bits of wrapping paper, and actually you can be quite clever if you're doing a guitar. And you fold it in half. You only have to do one half. The guitar is a bit like a figure of 8. It's got a round bit at the top, comes into the middle, and then it's a much bigger bit at the bottom of the figure of 8. It's longer, goes out a bit further. Now I'm tearing this. You can cut them, but I think it's actually better to tear them. When you tear, you can be a little bit more approximate. You can enjoy it, I think. Be less worried about what you do. And it also means that you can work on the edges. So we'll see what we do with that. That's going to be the body of the guitar. Here's a bit of wrapping paper for the neck of the guitar. So I'm folding that over to make a thin strip and tearing that. Crease it a bit with my fingernails and tear it. So these two bits of paper, they're wrapping paper, and they're kind of brown paper really. So I know that they'll be quite easy to draw on. You might get other bits of wrapping paper that are shiny, so you just got to experiment a little bit. Not everything is that easy to draw on. But I think it's quite good if you find paper you can't draw on, then you'll eventually work out what's the implement that will work on top of them. So this is going to be for the head of the guitar, and the shape of that, it's almost a bit of a V shape, or it's wider at the top than at the base. So I've tried to fold a shape like that. There we go, and that's going to go at the top. So all of that I could glue down. I'll do that next, and then I'll draw on top of it a little bit to show you what can happen. Next, turn it upside down, just got a glue stick. Glue it around the edges. Put the glue on the right side. And then we'll do the head next. Then I can draw into that with different things. I could draw into it with pencil or felt tip pen, or maybe pastels. So I'm going to look to see what else is there. There we go, so there's a few things. These are all dark colours actually. So for example, I might want to put the sound hole there. I might want to do something for the bridge, is that what it's called? And then maybe some of the keys up there. Some strings, maybe if I try some white chalk or a white pencil. Could put some strings on. And so on. So you can draw on top of it. You want to find, as I say, what materials will work. But if you can't get a pencil to work, then try a biro. If you can't get a biro to work, just try some other materials. There's a highlighter pen, that might be quite nice for... No, it didn't make any difference. But I was thinking of doing some patterns in some other parts. Another approach you could try, this is just using bits of wrapping paper, but you could make your own paper or make your own patterned paper. So this is just a piece of white photocopy paper, and I've been around the house with an orange pencil, and I've been taking rubbings. So this is a bit of wallpaper. It's painted wallpaper, so I didn't do any damage when I was rubbing the pencil over it. So I'd like taking a brass rubbing. This was a bit of wood on the door of the kitchen cupboard. This was a basket chair. So I've now got some nice patterned paper. So if I was to do the violin, maybe I'll do the violin with that. So the violin is a more complicated shape, isn't it? It's like the violin, it's like the guitar, but it goes, when it comes around that bit, it then goes out, and then we've got a shape, we've got to come in here to get the inner. There is a name for these things, but I can't remember what it is. The inner bit, then it comes out, and then it comes in again. When you do this, you might find that it tears and you don't get a whole piece. I wouldn't worry about that, just pick up all the pieces and you can stick them back together again. So that's kind of a violin shape there. And what else can we do on there? Some different paper. It's going to be the same paper, isn't it? Never mind. And a violin, I think a violin neck is thinner at the top. So I've got to tear that. Whoops. Could trim that with a scissors if I had to. But that would be my violin neck. And what else can I do to it? Let's stick it down and then I can draw into it. I think that will help me decide what else to do. So there is more or less the project for today. Get some musical instruments because they're really wonderful shapes, and try this collage technique where you stick them down, and you tear out the shape and then you stick them down onto some paper and draw on top of them. And if you're not happy with the edges, for example, my guitar has got quite a kind of fluffy edge, well, you can always take something like some chalk, or if I've put it onto white paper. If I was to put it onto a different coloured paper, I could take the colour that the paper is and draw on top of it. But I think in a way it's quite nice to have these loose edges. And then my violin needs a bridge, which can go there, and it's going to get some of the F holes like this, and then I would put something else on there for the keys. Okay, well, good luck.